Welcome, jewelers. Welcome all to another episode of Thank God It's Today. My name's Mega. This is the Jewelers Crypto Guild, joined by the legendary Trade. He's back in the house. Trade, how are you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I haven't been in the limelight as much with the streaming and the content, but best believe I've been in the background playing the good old DFK and having a good time in the markets, whether I'm holding assets, trading, and it's a good Thursday to be here.
Indeed, indeed. We have a DeFi Kingdoms daily skirmish going down actually in an hour roughly. So if you are around ready to play some PvP, get signed up. We're about 25% filled currently. It's 4 to 6, levels 4 to 6 today. Common to rare on this one, and also the new addition of the consolation tournament. So you always got a chance to jump back in if you get eliminated in one of the first few rounds. Jump back in free of charge, actually, if you competed in the previous tournament. And you can actually win more than your buy-in there. So pretty cool stuff. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the team for Trade. Some crazy balance adjustments. We're going to get into your sentiment, what you've been doing in the Kingdoms here in just a second. But briefly, more balance changes have came out. Definitely check out Stick's Intern's breakdown for an in-depth analysis of some of the changes. Me and Trade are going to breeze through them here later tonight. But on that question, Trade, what have you been doing in the Kingdom in specific? I know you've been laying low, but you've been keeping your head on the market, on the jewel bags, on the heroes. What's been going down, brother?
Yeah, for sure. First off, shout out to the chat, Kurt Hokage, and shout out to Sticks Intern too. Especially when you take like steps back and you may not know everything that's going on. His patch update was fantastic, so shout out to him for that. But yeah, I've been in the kingdom. We've been here 3+ years and we are still here. But what I've been doing is summoning my ass off. So basically, I'm not in the skirmishes and the tournaments as much, but I hear the meta that comes from the tournaments, and then I go summon, right? As for somebody who wasn't really summoning that much throughout this entire 3 years, I'm going balls to the wall, and really landing some pretty neat heroes. So, find your legion, claim your legacy. Is so many different ways and so many different strategies, so many different things you could be doing in this ecosystem. But I've been summoning my ass off. So, continuing to see these adjustments that are being made in Web3 with Web3 gaming as your players can give you feedback and adjust. It's been wonderful for me, still in the background, still enjoying this game more than ever, honestly. And, might not really hear that with what price action is doing, but we'll talk about that. But I pitch that back to you. What have you been doing in the kingdom?
Yeah, dude, a lot of PvP for sure. I've been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun. Building as well. Looking to kind of reorganize the old wallet. Trying to trade some things, sell some things straight up. But a lot of it's just getting rebuilt into heroes. Have bought a few, or rather, honestly haven't bought a lot lately. Few for dark summons, of course, your typical degen activity. But found a few trade that has paid off. Few heroes at level 1 that I burned off, way back in the past. And I said to myself, this will be nice when I get a better feel of the meta of the PvP, or for some reason where I can just build it straight into what I want to do. And it's been nice having these heroes with stones. They might be rare, leggy. Not many mythics that are ready to do this, but some rares and leggies and even uncommons with good traits that are ready to just, max agi if you're looking for that in the meta, or max strength on some warrior builds, or whatever the case may be. Just it's fun stuff to have them at level 1 ready to go up 16, 10, 16, 20 levels, and you got yourself a top tier hero potentially. So that's really what I've been doing. Loving to tinker in the meta. We got a lot of jewelers that are loving the PvP game right now, and we scrimmage a lot. Just test, have some fun, truly. So that and complaining to win in the Discord. Shout out to my C2Ws in the chat out there for real. But that's about it from me.
Yeah, I mean that's neat, right? To like to me it's been cool to like have heroes that have either I've already had stacked up, either ones that I've left at level one or ones that I've just been letting level up because I know I'm gonna burn them at some point, and then you're like, holy crap! You just go in, maybe you want a giant slayer, right? Recently, I've been getting stun pairs to then
Mm.
match with second wind pairs to try to get resurrection, right? And so I'm not shopping much in the tavern. I already have a ton of heroes. I go in, I scan, who has this combination that I need, and then most times I can pair my own heroes together, and it's been pretty cool working my way towards not only resurrection but combining some of my older heroes, and getting like my summoning luck has gotten better, not worse, right? I don't know if the team made some sort of adjustment, but it's been pretty neat. So, like as you say, having heroes stacked already, then you're not exhausting resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
Utilizing the lesser chaos stone strategy, you're not exhausting resources. So that's been pretty fun. And Sticks Intern says trade summoning stream when. I think I'm gonna
Ooh.
have to. I think when I have my stun second win combinations, going for resurrection live is gonna have to be on the slate. So
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely hear you on that, Sticks Intern. And then shout out to Golden Eye in the chat as well.
Yes, much love, Goldeneye. Great comments as well from Six Intern. I'm gonna have to tune into that one. I want to see that because trade. I've seen and heard some of the stuff you got in that wallet that you're cooking with those double traded, just monsters. And you speak on luck, whether the teams increase luck. The beauty of it is that if you give yourself more opportunities, you get luckier. It's kind of a symbiotic relationship there between luck and opportunities. So you're just giving yourself a
Mm-hmm.
lot of opportunities, and you're bound to hit some monsters. And that's some of the top players in PvP right now. You look at some of their heroes; they might not be mythics, but you can see some uncommons, rares do work because they have triple elites, potentially triple exalted traits.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just building for the future, and I love to see it. Definitely gonna have to tap into the trade rooms socials. That's trade room spelled with 2 zeros. You can find him on all socials. So follow him for any future updates and live streams to come. But speaking on sentiment, speaking on overall what we've been doing. What have the markets been doing, Trade? The markets have been alive. Whether that's been good or bad, they have been lively, volatile, crazy. Trade, I'm going to pull your screen up here because I see some good old fashioned, lovely charts from Trade Room that the people have been missing. Trade, break it down here for us. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
what are we
I mean,
seeing?
I was supposed to do a stream this past weekend, but some things popped up, some life things popped up, and we've been following the market, man, 4 years, 4 or 5 years online. And I put out a tweet recently that it's dope for me to share the charts of uh, my viewpoints online. But over the last 3 weeks, I took a step back and did some short-term trading and did pretty well, right? But my question, and I'll throw this to the chat here. What are you feeling? You feeling like we're in a bear market? You feeling like we're still in a bull market? Some people feeling like maybe 2026 is the year and not 2025. So let me know how you guys are feeling in the chat. But sentiment is not the greatest right now, right? We got excuse me, we got tariffs going on, a trade war going on. We've had the S&P 500 and the Bitcoin correct from between 21% for the S&P 500 and up to 29-30% for Bitcoin. And we've had altcoins get hit even harder, right? Jewel has gone went as high as 30 cents at some point, then corrected back down to 4 cents. And so, what's the sentiment? Is Jewel going to zero? Like, how are you feeling right now, right? I'll speak on what I see in the charts, what we've seen since the bottom. And quite frankly, this is not, we've gone through this extensively. I don't need to break down everything here, but just quite simply put, this was when the bull market started, okay? And it was July of 2022. We talked about this numerous times. This is the channel that we've been following since that started, right? And we have not deviated from that channel, right? We hit the 15K, we bounced back up to the top of this channel at 36K. We went back down to 26K, which was a pivotal area. We came back up to the top of this channel at 85K. We went back down to the bottom of this channel at 47K. We came back up to the top of this channel, created some new all-time highs at 110K, and now we came back down to the bottom of this channel and went as low as 74K. So all in all, Bitcoin is just respecting this channel. And so this two yellow bars I have here is a baseline between the previous all-time high of 69K and the new all-time high that was created. This is that baseline. As long as price ranges in here, we're due to not only respect this channel, but go ahead and make new all-time highs that I believe ranges between 143,000 and 216,000. Now, for the assets that I hold, like a Jewel, like an XRP, like an AVAX, I'm not waiting till 216K. I'm out at 143K. Not financial advice. You can do what you got to do.
And now, Trade,
But
on that real quick, just to butt in,
yeah,
is that because you kind of see that relationship between Bitcoin and the alt season pick up? Because we haven't seen a lot of that yet. You've seen the memes, you've seen that run a
yeah,
lot, you've seen a lot of those random, what
yep,
people are calling those TikTok trend coins or whatever the case may
yep,
be. But alts haven't seen that, contrary to a few. XRP had a nice run, and a
yep.
few others. Hyperliquid has been pretty solid overall. But is that kind of a given if we can see some of these levels that alt season should hopefully kick off?
Yeah, no, that's actually a great question, right? So if I zoom in a little closer, alt season only happens when you have quantitative easing,
Mm,
okay? Which means the Fed either cutting rates or signaling that they're going to start cutting rates. Also, when liquidity returns into the market, M2, when that returns into the market, that's when you see alt season. Now,
okay.
you've had selective coins perform very well, right? You like the best performing asset of this year is XRP, and I happen
Right.
to be an XRP maxi, right? Because it has strong fundamentals and strong technicals. Solana was a pretty strong performer in this bull market, but altcoins in general haven't done anything because quantitative easing is not going on, right? You need easy money. And also, too, liquidity M2 has not returned to the market. I wholeheartedly believe those two things will occur. And with this Trump 90-day pause on tariffs, that opens up a summer window
Hmm.
to have Bitcoin make its big move, this move that we're anticipating, to the top of this channel here, which sits at 155K. And then that leaves room once quantitative easing and liquidity returns into the market for alt season. But until those things happen, you're not going to see alt season unless your particular coin is strong. XRP is strong. Solana is strong. Um, Jewel is not that strong at the current moment. It needs the push of Bitcoin. It needs liquidity returning to the market in order to make a big push. So I'm just keeping it simple with Bitcoin. This channel since 2022, the bottom of this channel is being tested. The previous all-time high and this range is being tested, and it's held pretty damn well. As you get the momentum indicators to now turn around as well, and we had something called a death cross. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the death cross,
What is a
Mega,
death
but that's
cross?
a death cross is, and it sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? A
Yeah.
death cross. Let me remove this trend line. A death cross is when the 50-week moving average, which means the 50-week average price of Bitcoin, this yellow line here, crosses the 100-week moving average, which is this white line here. And normally you get what is called a death cross, and it's a bearish indicator. And what normally happens is, as the death cross is happening, the market anticipates it ahead of time. And you get, since March of 2025, this downwards price action. But once the market realizes there is a death cross, that actually marks the bottom,
Mm.
right? That actually marks the bottom. So you've seen this trend line here hold, you've seen this channel hold, you've seen the death cross on the daily chart come to fruition. And now I believe we're creating the bottoming process. And we happen to be in what you would call a bull flag. Okay. These two yellow flags here are a bull flag. And so what normally happens in the bull flag is you touch the top, you touch the bottom, you touch the top, you touch the bottom, top, bottom, top. We may have a little bit more downside here and then a breakout. All
Mm.
right. That's what I'm anticipating. This channel has been beautiful since 2022. The all-time highs were created, and I believe we're due for this final upside. And then, quite unfortunately, after this final upside here, because I'm not just a perma bull, we could have Bitcoin returning to $13,000, $14,000. This is
Whoa.
this entire thing has been my thesis for at least the last 4 years. Okay. And again, why could we get a $14,000, $15,000 Bitcoin? We're headed to a recession. All the signals show that we're headed to a recession. The sentiment is really, really down, really, really bad. But based upon these technical and these fundamentals that we're looking at, I still think there is some more upside for Bitcoin. I still think that quantitative easing happens, and I still think liquidity returns to the market. And so I've been trading, but using those trading profits to buy risk assets like a AVAX, like a Jewel for that final upside. So that's my breakdown on Bitcoin. I mean, we've been following this thing for years. And that then leads us, we can look at AVAX, but AVAX has a similar chart. But then to quickly look at Jewel and what's going on with that. But I'll leave some room for some feedback from you on my thoughts on
Yeah,
this.
well, quick feedback from chat as well. Congrats on a crystal raffle win from yourself. It looks like trade, so that's good
Oh,
stuff.
snap.
We like that.
Nice.
We like that. Elite says make Jewel great again. I think we're all in that boat. I think we're all there. Despite the damn fucking tornado whirlwind of spins we've been put through within the last like 2-3 months of politics, but yeah, make Jewel great again, indeed. We need a trade index coin as well, Sticks Intern says, because Sergeant says he is a trade room maxi. So, honestly, I don't need any feedback because Chad's doing it for us tonight, trade. So, let's see this
That's
Jewel chart, brother.
hilarious. Yo, I didn't even know I won the crystal. Like I said,
That's
I haven't
big.
had a lot of time to hunt, so I got some time today to hunt. So it's neat that I won that crystal. That's probably gonna go towards summoning, and
Right
dark
on.
summoning. Um, so that's pretty neat. I'm very happy about that. So let's talk about Joel, right? So if we are looking at Bitcoin, that entire channel that we're tracking Still some upside. Sentiment is down. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to a bear market. The bear market's coming, the recession's coming, but there is still some remaining upside left. What does that mean for Jewel? Now, for Jewel, the chart that I'm currently on is the 3-day chart. Every candle is 3 days. And I'm on a 3-day chart for a particular reason. And I'll tell you why. All right. So we've had this red bar here, which is where a few months ago we said we don't want to see Jewel break below 11 cents. It's not going to be a good thing. I tweeted that I just it's unimpressive, right? XRP is running up crazy, a lot of strength. Meanwhile, Jewel is just creating lower lows and lower lows and lower lows because of the two reasons, right? Quantitative easing is not here, and liquidity has not returned to the market. It really is just Bitcoin making its move and pulling from the market. And now Bitcoin is also correcting. And so I'm not surprised to see these lower lows from Jewel. It's been 1,054 days of this downside since this bear market move in 2022. Not impressive. Not something you want to see from a coin.
It's been a long
But what
100 days trade. It's been a long 150
a
days.
thousand
A
days, a
thousand, wait, a
thousand
thousand
days,
day. Okay, so that makes more. It's definitely been long.
1,000 days and 1,054 days, right? So you know me, I love divergences, right? Whether it's bearish, whether it's bullish. And what we're seeing here is price action from 2023 coming down. But guess what is coming up? The relative strength index, the RSI, has continued to make higher highs for the last 2 years. That shows a build up of momentum. And if we know anything about Jules' history, it stays dormant for quite some time and then it goes ballistic. Okay, that's just what Jewel does at this current moment. Same thing was happening with Bitcoin in the early days, and best believe this is the early days. And so you have 2 years, actually 3 years, of a bullish divergence building up in Jewel with higher highs and RSI. That's the 3-day chart. And so what that tells me is, at minimum, once this bullish divergence plays out, we're not only going to test this 75-cent region that it popped to, but I'm highly confident that we test this $1.26 region in the worst case scenario. In the worst case scenario, we test this $1.26 region. And from where we are right now, that's about a 25 plus X. Not too bad, not too shabby, right? And again, bullish divergence over a 3-year period is a serious thing on this 3-day chart that we're looking at. So that's what we're looking at with Jewel, even though we are not impressed at all with the current price action that's been happening because it's not showing strength. But when you have liquidity returning to the market, quantitative easing return to the market, Bitcoin pushing and aggressively pushing towards new all-time highs, this is what you can expect from Jewel. Now, if Bitcoin crashes, okay, you won't see this from Jewel, but I am not of the belief of that. And then when you go to the weekly chart, you no longer see that bullish divergence, but what you do see on the momentum indicators, like the stochastic RSI, is this rounding out of momentum, which speaks to now each candle being a full week. You see this MACD, okay, which is also a momentum indicator, going from the darker red to the lighter red. And this just spells a coming impulse for Jewel. And we know how Jewel behaves when it impulses. Even if we get a push back from Jewel to the previous high of 76, 78 cents, it's a 1,400% run. So people always ask about time. I can't tell you a time. I can only tell you levels. So as Bitcoin makes its way to that 140 to 160K level, you can expect Jewel to then get positive price action to what? To the first level of 78 cents, which is a 1,500% run, to the $1.26. And if we get enough momentum,
Ooh.
my ultimate upside for Jewel, and this has not changed for months,
Mm-hmm.
and going towards some years now, is $5.58. And when you're a chartist, it's hard to continue putting your inferences out there, but I maintain confidently that this is what we can look forward to for Jewel if liquidity returns to the market, quantitative easing returns to the market, and based upon the fundamentals and the technicals of what we're looking at, and myself still believing that there is some upside remaining for Bitcoin, this is what we have to look forward to. And if a $5.58 uh, Jewel is like, that's close to 100x,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So,
I
so to me, and I'll finish this off, it doesn't matter to me, okay, if it happens this year or if it happens during the next bull market. This is what we have in front of us for Jewel based upon the chart and analysis. And oh my gosh, the next bull run,
whew.
me playing this game is not for this bull run. It is for the next one and the one after,
Mm-hmm.
because I wholeheartedly love and believe in this game. But that's if you're looking at 100 plus x 4 years, 5 years from now, would you stay or would you leave? That is the question.
I can highly highly likely bet that a lot of people would be very, very excited with even over a dollar Jewel trade. So, much love. God damn, it's good to have you back, trade, with the market breakdown. The chartist, I believe I heard in there, trade. That, we're coining it, Trade Room the Chartist, going forward. But beautiful breakdown. Yes, I think um, not. I mean, for one, the game is so early that if
Mm-hmm.
you're playing just for this bull run, and I don't think many of the people around the ecosystem are, I think you're
Mm-hmm.
playing it wrong because not only do we have a fun game, not only do we have a killer community, but the bones and the innovation of which DeFi Kingdoms cooks up here for us, that's why we're still around. That's why you see other people, other products, other teams, gaming projects fold so quickly because they don't have what DeFi Kingdoms has within the
Mm-hmm.
team, within the community. But just another big shout out to the team overall, dude. We have a very in-depth battle system, and we just released the second half of a huge update. We're gonna get into it a little bit more in depth here, but
Nice.
finish out the trade talk here first. Um, Trade. Now, my question for you is obviously these numbers are and one of the biggest things I think, the most important things I think you said is you can't predict the future and you don't know timings of these things. Not only, okay, let's say we get the bear, or let's say we get a full on, exponential bull run coming in May, mid May. Let's just say, for example,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell how long that's gonna last. You can give
Mm-hmm.
your best educated guess, and we'll of course listen, and of course there's a lot of good information behind your basis, but
Mm-hmm.
just the formula of the market, we can't guarantee how long, when, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So all you can do is, the longer I've been in the ecosystem, the more I realize it's just about being in the ecosystem, putting
Yes.
your money where your mouth is. Um, Biggest thing I think is hold on to a little bit of Bitcoin. Not financial advice. Do what you got to do. But for me, at least, as I'm growing older, it's just hold on to a little bit more Bitcoin than
Yeah.
I've been. Gamble on my alts here and there. There's some stronger alts than others. I love AVAX. XRP has shown me some strength, contrary to what I thought it would do, honestly. Um, just hold on to some Bitcoin, I think, is one of the biggest things I've been holding on going forward.
For
But
sure. I totally agree with that. And if we're gonna get a 13, $14,000 Bitcoin, for the next 4 years, I'm gonna stack satoshis and hopefully get me a half a Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin. But
Right.
the recession is not negative. Well, it's negative in the sense of that how it's gonna affect the economy. But if you are an investor, you're licking your lips.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, fortunately. And so the last thing I'll say is this is only speculation,
Right
but
on.
I do think China comes to the table at some point. I do think this 90-day window opens us up. Normally during the summer we have a downturn, but I think this 90-day window opens us up for, and especially since Bitcoin has been correcting for a while, this window opens us up for a very quick, aggressive, just parabolic surge that totally surprises the market. And by the time most retail gets in, it's too late. That's just my speculation, icing on top of the cake for what we have here.
Right on, dude. And you know I saw a great tweet today. The only thing certain in finance trade room is that there will only ever be, there only is, and only will ever be 21 million bitcoins. So we're
That's a
stacking
fact.
sats on this side, baby. So
And
I
only
love to hear it.
what? 20, 23, 22 million joule?
Whew, and lowering each and every day. So, hey, deflationary assets. That's why you said you're stacking for not this bull run, the next one, the one after, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We got generations to feed. So, that's what we're
Facts.
doing. That's what we're hoping for. Stacking sats. We'll be here playing some Kingdoms, some DeFi. And we got 8 entries, actually. I'm going to pull down your screen for a quick second.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, we got about 18 more minutes before sign up, so we very well could fill. This is a 4 to 6 tournament, common or rare. 8 players, 91 karma, Shock Velo, Broody, Bad Eric, myself, DFK Bannerman, Code Green, Fex,
Nice.
and Dread Syndicate be easy. So get in there if you want to play some PvP with us later tonight. Damn, I think this is a good time to jump in. Unless you had anything else to add, I'll pull back up your share.
No, that's it. That's it.
Perfect. Let's get into some things. Trade. Let's lead off the discussion on this balance change with, less you saw, or just kind of your perspective. Where do you think the meta is? Like, is there anything because you haven't been playing as much, but on like your kind of viewpoint from the outside perspective, are you seeing anything that you're like, damn, if I'm building a hero today and I can do almost anything to it, despite RNG, let's just say it's an RNG free world. What are you building today? Is there anything specific, or what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, we noticed the change that happened with the Sears, right? The pause between certain seer moves. Okay, cool. Then we noticed a priest, and I heard in the AMA today that they pushed out the priest patch update before everything else because of the feedback that they were getting. And listening to Sticks Intern and the different changes, it actually excites me because it's going to be interesting to see how this affects the current overall gameplay in the tournaments. But for somebody who's not playing tournaments, it's just really cool that I'll hop into a hunt and I'll be like, oh shoot, okay, this is different. This is a little different from what I'm normally seeing. So I'm adjusting to some of these patch updates in the hunts, which is fine by me. Like, I don't mind the changes, right? You make the changes and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is the adjustment that I need to make, opposed to just saying, oh my God, you nerfed X. But the thing that really actually intrigues me, it seems like the knight has been buffed a bit, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we look at some of these changes. But I'm just seeing some of these changes in hunts, and opposed to like feeling like, oh my God, you made a change. I'm almost excited to see what I have to do differently for this to now work out for me. And
Right.
as a big fan of the Knights, and I have one of the best Knights in the game, I'm pretty excited to kind of see how these changes affect things.
Oh, right on. Yeah, Nice definitely got a nice touch. And that's a big perspective. I feel like I'm lacking lately. So, big ups to you for bringing that up. The hunt side of things, even the patrols things, the patrol side of things, when these balance changes come, it's not just PvP. You are getting some changes in result to all these systems: hunts, PvP, and PvE. Patrols, hunts, all PvE, of course. Like Trade said, we got the priest nerfs, some small buffs to certain stuff. Mostly the damage priest got some buffs, but a lot of changes to the overall sustain priest. A week out, my overall opinions is I love new priest. It sucks that the Holy Circle loses you so much initiative, 500, but it
Oh.
is it makes sense. You can't just I feel like it was one of the safer ways to nerf the priest. I
Hmm.
did not see the buffs to damage priest coming though, and it excites me a lot. Getting even more spell damage onto the combo. I believe the stun chance went way up. Yes, almost 2 times wisdom. Increase to the percent for your combo stun chance, and even the base Holy Light got some buffs to receive or give additional damage from attacks. So
Mm.
I think the team did great on releasing the priest stuff first, taking a look at it and seeing, okay, how much of this other stuff is ready to go, or how much of this other stuff has to also be tweaked again after these priest changes. Um, Moving on to this week's changes. Love the speed stuff. It's been too short of a time frame to kind of take a look at all of it and see how it feels, but I feel like it kind of brought things a little more even. Still feel like the high agi heroes shine. They just might not shine as much, but I feel like that's a fair trade-off for how strong they've seen in the last few weeks and last few months as well. So changes to dynamic stats, block, and speed. You can read all about it, and you can also, if you can't read like a lot of us, go watch Sticks Intern because he breaks it down in depth, a lot of clarity, and a lot of good breakdowns there. So definitely check out Sticks Intern as well for his full breakdown.
Yeah,
We,
and
yep.
really quickly, the swapping of strength to be more towards block opposed to days, I think was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And DFK Elite says days interrupt combos now. Baby boars have become stronger. I didn't know that. That's
Oh,
interesting.
the damn baby boars. Yeah, I haven't played many hunts, so it's interesting to see how this affects it. One thing on the PvE subject, you do have another bonus being added to your level 1 heroes. This specifically has to be for level 1 teams only. So the whole team has to be consisting of level 1 heroes, and you gain this following buff: plus 20% to physical reduction and magical reduction, plus 5% critical strike chance, and 5% speed increase as well. Permanently active in patrols if you're level 1 team, level 1 heroes only. So you'll be able to do it through all 3 stages of those patrols, rather through the 3 iterations of one singular patrol. I would recommend you not taking level 1s into the 2nd tier or 3rd tier of patrols. Probably want to go too well even with these buffs, but I don't know. That could be a fun challenge to see completed. But days changes, potion changes, swiftness potion got a little bit of a nerf. People were using it very strong. Can't blame them, but seems the team thought it was a little too strong. They also added the precision potion, giving you 200 cost 200 less initiative as well. So that's just the beginning of it. Trade, anything to add there before we get into some of the traits and hero stuff?
Yeah, not at all. With the crystal that I won from Hunt, I'm gonna set up a portal summon for double stun.
Nice.
If but the cool out is done, maybe we finish off with that at the end of the show.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let me know when you are set. We'll just breeze through this again. If you want the full breakdown, check out Sticks Intern on YouTube, on X. You can find him somewhere. This has been bugging every time I scroll up. Okay, perfect. So we're on to the traits. Actives, Iron Skin, huge change that I've used today multiple times actually. Iron Skin, underrated trait. We'll have to redo our tier list, but it's also gaining another buff of 500 initiative. So you actually get like half a turn. You get to use Iron Skin, get that fat damage decrease, physical physical damage decrease, and you get to go up even faster again. So huge change there. Explosion reduced additional damage on critical hits. Giant Slayer got a big buff. Last Stand got an interesting change. I think it was a buff when I heard chat talking about it, but kind of changed it around it from plus 300% to uh, some different stats. I think this is physical reduction versus magical defense and physical defense. So magical reduction and physical reduction versus magical defense and physical defense. Going back to the Giant Slayer change before we jump into classes, this is interesting. Giant Slayer now gives you the 10% buff unchanged if you have less HP than the hero you're attacking. Now, if the hero you're attacking with a Giant Slayer hero, of course, has 1.5 times the HP as your hero, you actually get 15% increased damage. And if the hero has double, so 2 times the HP of your Giant Slayer hero, you're going to get 20% HP. So Giant Slayer definitely got a nice little buff there.
So let me ask you something then, because I just landed Giant Slayer on Legendary Sage. What do you think about Giant Slayer on a Sage?
I don't know if we know the Sage tree, skill tree yet, but my idea and hope and understanding is that we will get some sort of damage within that Sage tree. So I think that's a nice hold right there, Trey. And I'm going to have to lend you back your Giant Slayer Archer so you can test it out, whether it be in PvP or hunts. Let me know how this Giant Slayer changes, because that mythic Giant Slayer Archer you got, bro, I love that thing.
Shout out to Dags.
Oh, yeah, shout out to the Legend Dags for helping you with that one. Let's get into the classes here, Trade.
Nice.
Archer, some changes to his channeling build. Slight decrease in damage on Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter meta has been taking over, I think, almost every level rank from 6s, 10s, 15s, and 20s. Very strong. Now you get Amnesia 2 and a little bit less damage, as well as your initiative is a flat 1,000 now versus 900 previously. Piercing Arrow looks like it actually got a buff, a fat buff based on your luck. Might have to test that out. Repeating Shot. You'll see a common theme here. A lot of abilities got new combos. So Rapid Onslaught and Repeating Shot, they have a multitude of arrows and basic attacks being hit. Now you only get that last extra basic attack or extra arrow if you combo it. So
if you combo, yeah.
Rapid Onslaught, you have to use Gladiator Strike to get 4 Rapid Onslaught strikes. Repeating Shot, you have to use Rapid Shot prior to get that combo to get 3 arrows at the target enemy. And each arrow is a lot of damage for that Repeating Shot. So 1 small stone, slight buff as well to bleed. Now we get to that Knight trade. This was one of my most excited, one of the changes I was most excited for. So you'll get some good stuff on challenge and shield up. You'll gain a little bit of initiative. Cool thing with challenge is if you miss the taunt, this is only if you miss, though, you gain an extra 300 initiative. So, it's not such an empty turn. Before it felt like, okay, you're going to use it. You might get the Intimidate, but if you don't get the taunt, it felt like such an empty turn. Now they're giving you a little something back in terms of speed, initiative rather, but overall, line bar speed. So all the damage abilities on tier 3 also got a damage boost. So that's good for your Knights trade. And we also see some changes to Interception. Huge in the meta as well with Sharpshooters. We see Amnesia 4 being added to Interception. This is crazy because Knights were dominating.
And honestly, I saw Sticks Intern shamelessly give his heroes a shout out when he was going through some of the patch notes. Can we show off the Knight? To get a preview from everybody about where this Knight stacks. Now that we got a little buff going on here, can we see it a little bit?
Yeah, which one are you talking about? I'm sorry.
The mythic Knight that has all the proper stats it should for a Knight.
You're talking about your Knight, right?
Yeah.
I got you, bro. This thing.
Let's pull out that bad boy.
Monster. Edito. Cash sign. 1500 HP, menacing, duelist, poison blade speed. I mean, look at these traits, trade. This thing is going to be hitting like a truck. 59 strength, 37
Hmm.
dex, 30 even fast. I mean, this was a beautiful build from
Hmm.
you. Damn. Now, your whole build here, what, or at least a good bit of your, or excuse me, two of your, I'd say two of your best mythics. I don't know about all your mythics, to be honest. You might have even more cookers in the oven, but this one, and let's pull it up, that Archer.
The Archer, the
Dude,
Giant Slayer.
both the two your some of your best heroes got some crazy buffs, trade. With the Giant Slayer, here's Sesh. Giant Slayer Duelist, Deathmark Heal. I'm excited to see how this thing hits with Giant Slayer as well now.
Mm.
And it's one of those heroes who has lower HP already, so Giant Slayer's constantly hitting
Giant
there
Slayer
with
could
it.
work for him. Yeah, yeah.
You know, Elite said it earlier. He wants to see some trade room in PvP trade. You have some monster teams. It's just about getting whenever you're ready, bro. I
Listen,
cannot
when
wait
it
to see
comes
it.
down to that 10K, okay,
Oh yeah.
whatever that lead up to that final, I'm gonna give it a shot. That's why I've been summoning like crazy because I want to give that last run, that last bag a shot. So
Oh yeah.
I'll be in there, Elite, and quite honestly, shout out to Elite because a lot of his showcases early on taught me so much of how his gaming mind works, and I got a lot of good um, intel from just watching him play and how he thinks. So shout out to him for putting out that content. But I'll be in there. I'll be in there.
In due time, my friend. I can't wait. Let's go back to these night changes. Royal Guard and Iron Shield also got some initiative. Some changes to Shield Smash. Combo got a little better. Chance to root on the Shield Smash combo is actually really cool. Um, they spoke on something funny today, Trade. I did catch this. I didn't catch much of the AMA. This part I did hear. The Whirlwind Attack. I don't think this warrior doesn't have it, unfortunately. But the Whirlwind Attack, you know how the warrior kind of crosses the screen, moves all
Mm-hmm.
around. They said somebody asked a brilliant question whether rooting will keep that warrior from using that whole whirlwind because it seems like he
Oh,
moves so much. They kind of opted to say, yeah, they don't think they're gonna do that. Kind of
okay.
creates a how did they say it? Creates a weird dynamic where then each, the thematics of each move, they might have to be like, okay, is this hero actually moving? Yada,
Mm-hmm.
yada. So they're kind of avoiding that for future reasons. It kind of makes sense to me, at least. So
Yeah, I
just a
mean, like
sidebar.
critical aim plus whirlwind. Oh, nasty,
Oh, yeah.
nasty.
Indeed, indeed. Whirlwind, speaking of the warrior here, Whirlwind actually got even worse initiative loss, going down from 500 to 600. So a tough move, but a lot of damage comes with that AoE spell, so it's understandable. Gladiator Strike got a small nerf. Warcry, small potential buff. Do the math on that one yourself. Depends on level, I guess. I'm not going to do it. Bloodthirst, small buff. Whirlwind we talked on. Rapid Onslaught we talked on as well. That combo, technically nerf, I'd say, on Repeating Shot and Rapid Onslaught. Punish change and enough change. Changing it from 2 turns to 25 ticks, I think a lot of people are happy with this, with the Warriors enough. So, good stuff there. Trying to close this out so I can, so we could close out with your summon as well before the 9 o'clock
Yeah.
mark. Seer changes, Warstone, mana cost stuff. Osmatic Ward, biggest one I'd say, changed the ward from magical damage blocking to pure damage. So any damage blocking on that ward now, cool stuff. Chrono Purge got Amnesia reduced from 4 to 3. That's big. Some mana increases on Rejuvenation Stone and Barrier Stone. And then the Berserker. Last change on Berserker. Just a combo with the Berserker's Mark. If that enemy is targeted by at least half... If the enemy is inflicted with Berserker's Mark, that enemy is targeted by at least half of the Blind Rage attacks. So... kind of a buff there, it looks like. Single target damage, so I guess a buff. Depends how you're feeling about it. If you're looking for AoE, technically a nerf. So that's about it, Trade. When you want, I'll pull up your summoning screen, and we
Oh
will
yeah,
showcase this bad boy.
let me pull that up here. and you can show it off. So again, shout out to the Jewelers Discord. When it came down to it, where the tournaments launched, and I'm seeing people stacking up, and some of these active, double active, passive traits. I was like, okay, well, how do I plan for the future and getting a 10 of 10s and building on top of it? I want a resurrection bad. Okay.
Yep.
Seeing Just come up with the resurrection and find a way to just bring himself back to life. I was like, you know what? I need a couple resurrection archers, right? And if I can get double stun while going through that process, double second win while going through that process, awesome,
That'll
right?
play. That'll play.
That'll play. So I picked up this mythic archer. It was 10 of 10. And I picked up this rare archer because it's hard to find the combinations now. Everybody's holding on to what they got. So this pair was good enough for me, even though it's a level 1 and level 10. I'm hitting them through the portal, and then I'm going to find a mythic pair for this archer down the line to dark summon it. So that's the goal there. I've gone through 7 summons already, and I've gotten 1 double stun.
Damn.
With 6 summons, so I'm gonna look to build a second wind pair to that. But these are my odds, right? I have a 37% chance of getting stun on active 1, and then a 14% chance of getting stun on active 2 with toxic and efficient as a very low stance. Now the double stun pair that I got was a common, but I don't care
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter. It's gonna
Hey.
do damage,
Hey,
right?
those commons could win you this tournament we're about to do right now.
There
Commons to
you
rare,
go.
you get double stun on that. That is meta. That is pretty strong right now. And I love the chance that you get 75% on the archer here. Huge.
There you go. Yeah. So it's a pretty high chance of landing an archer. So yeah, so I already put it together here. I have the egg ready to crack right here. And we're gonna see if I get another double stun that I can work with here to combine with that second win. But I'm telling you, in about 2 months, I'm gonna have a couple of resurrection
Come
archers
on, baby.
ready
Speak it
to
into
go.
existence.
Speaking into existence, if Mythic Squad was here, what do we say? I mean, Sticks is here repping them, but
Of
Mythic
course.
vibes,
Mythic vibes. Send it. Leegee.
Oh, Leechy, what? I've gotten mostly archers this entire time. That's
Uncommon,
crazy.
okay.
It's a
Let's see some traits,
common.
though. This could save it.
We got the int hit. Oh, what a
Oh,
rug. What a
days.
rug. But again, I already have the double stun that I'm looking for. So this is like cool. I use the lesser chaos, you know what I'm saying? So it's not resource intensive
Yeah,
to
this
be
was
able
a
to go for these.
good stab on this one, though. But you, like you said, not resource intensive because you have so much in the inventory. Can you check the recessives?
Yeah, for sure. Not much going on here.
Damn, they stole it all, bro. Unbelievable.
Not much. Not
Unbelievable.
much. But I see the value in having a 10 of 10s because you can just keep trying. I have 2 double stuns level with 6 summons left. So I've gotten what I needed from this combination. And like I said, I'm going to combine this mythic. So anyone out there, okay, that has a mythic archer to possibly match this for a dark summon, which is coming in soon. Let me know. I'll be down to take a daze and exhaust combination dark summon for this mythic archer.
Let's go. We're gonna have to scan the tavern. That's gonna be a fun stream. I'm gonna have to know when that's going down. So I'm pulling this up real quick because Worm says
For
he
sure.
is facing me
Oh,
in
snap.
the damn tournament.
Oh,
I got Sir
snap.
Worm round 1. We got some legends in the house. Sticks in turn facing Copper down on the low side of the bracket. He's gonna have to face Shock Velo, whoever wins that one, Copper or Sticks in turn. Be Easy versus Goldeneye. Bad Eric versus Max. Me versus Worm. 91K versus Code Green. The Bannerman versus Nick. And the winner of that will face Fex. So a loaded bracket here. We're going to have some fun tonight. If you do lose, don't forget you got the consolation for free. You'll play with the same team again. You might as well do it. If you're looking for PvP matches, definitely do that. Trade room. We're going to get these people out here a little bit early so they can make this tournament and get some votes out.
For sure.
Final words. Good to have you back, but final words, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to be here in the kingdom. Love the community. Love the continued building. 3+ years strong. We got about another 7 to go. Realistically, we have about another decade to go. So I'm gonna continue enjoying this ecosystem. Bullish for the next 3 months that we have coming up. So proceed accordingly. But thank God it's Thursday.
Yes, sir, indeed. Thank God to have you back, Trade. Thank God it's today. Thank God it's Thursday. And thank God we got a daily skirmish going down here in about 5 minutes. I'm excited. Get your votes out. Every round, every match will be sponsored. So win yourself some jewel as well. As always, have fun in the kingdom. I'm staying bullish as best as we can through these times of turmoil all over the world. Try to stay positive. Try to crack a laugh, crack a smile. Make some of these days better if you can, bro. A lot of troubling times across the nation, the world in general. So choose positivity, choose kindness. Bros, I'll see you in the tournament. We'll see you next week. T-Heat hopefully will be back. He's enjoying a ball game tonight. We'll see if Trade's back. He's going to be back with some streams here. Trade, are you on this weekend as well? I forget.
Not this
Not this
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah, most likely next weekend.
I was thinking last weekend. That's my bad.
Yeah, for
Regardless,
sure.
we always enjoy and cherish the time we get with Trade's chart knowledge. The chartist, the Trade Room. Follow him on the socials. For Trade, my name's Mega. This is the Jewelers Gaming Guild. This is DeFi Kings, baby. And this is Bullish. We'll see you next week,
Bullish.
folks.
Peace.
Peace.